talk to Travis. Oh, Travis, did you just have a stroke?
No, sorry. I was laughing at the last thing you were doing. I think there's a bit of a delay.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Travis, yeah, go ahead and let's talk Martin Luther King. Let's talk about his legacy. I want to talk a little bit first about what he meant to you. Maybe you met him at some point, or maybe he was able to guide you in some way.
Well, actually, MLK is the reason I'm calling, because when I was in high school, we used to do special assemblies. I bet you had them too. And a couple MLK days ago, we had an MLK special. Nice. And it was probably the most stupid thing my school has ever done. They get this guy to show up and give a talk to the whole school. Mm-hmm. And the first red flag is that he goes by two names. First, he goes by the race doctor.
The race doctor?
And the second name that he eventually switches to, randomly without warning, is the minority reporter. And this is a guy who comes up, he's wearing a lab coat, and he's like, all right, kids, I'm going to talk to you about race and the media and how it's all connected. And I just remember it being probably the most unorganized shit show of an assembly. And these are topics that are important topics. MLK left a legacy, and we should respect that. But this guy was not respecting it, and it was just a travesty. He gets up and he starts making all of these really broad claims about how unfair race portrayals are in the media, and that's a legitimate issue, a very real concern that people should be looking at. But I remember the biggest example I can think of the issue that he had. He puts up a bunch of pictures of kids, and there are a lot of different ethnicities that he shows up that he puts up, and he's like, I guess he's trying to make a point about expectations with race, and he asks okay, everybody, who do you see here? And everyone's just kids, they're children. And he's like, did I hear criminals? And everyone's like, no, we didn't say that. And it was just come on. And so my question is, did you ever have any bullshit assemblies when you were in high school that you had to participate in?
Yeah, we had a woman come to our theater class that said, I'm going to teach you the importance of teamwork. And she said, all right, come up on the stage. And she picked our friend Jenny and our friend Matt. Come up on the stage. And she's like, now try to get up. Sit on your butt on the ground. Sit on your butt with your legs in front of you and try to stand up without using your arms. And I think her point was that they were supposed to put their backs together to prop each other up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
And that is supposed to teach you about teamwork. But Jenny was so athletically fit, she got up on her own without using her arms at all. She just stood up, and the woman didn't know what to do. And so that was just a waste of time. And then following that, we had a guy come out with an important message, and he came out and just went, stop the violence, pump up the peace with knowledge and love for you and me.
It's great.
And he said that a bunch of times. You could see that in some old videos that we have. Someone's saying that, and we pretend to beat him up. But when we did our trailers and stuff for Konami, they interviewed us at the press event, and we said that in the interview. We were there with Japanese developers and stuff, and we said that in the middle of the interview, and we were so excited for Konami to put that up, and then they lost the footage, so I was really bummed. That would have been funny.
That's funny. Also, I wanted to mention, you were talking about Disneyland yesterday a lot, and you always talk about Disneyland, so, maybe
sure.
Broad subject, but you were specifically talking about Tokyo Disneyland.
Yeah.
And I actually was there pretty recently, and it's funny because I think I've been there more times now than any other Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
And you're totally right about it feeling kind of too big in a way, but also it lacks the historical perspective.
Yeah,
I think.
definitely.
When you go to the stores there, I feel like it's all about the marketing, character stuff, and I think that's kind of particularly Japanese in the way that it's sort of built around that. But you don't get the whole sense of you wouldn't be able to buy like a model of a tiki room tiki or something like that. It's all like funny hats or like teddy bears.
Yep.
But I will say Disney Sea is so cool, particularly because. Did you go on any of did you go on the Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Yeah.
Right. I think there's a couple rides there where they show how far robotic technology has come.
Yeah.
Where there's a couple rides. There's even a ride called Sinbad's Adventure where it's kind of like a. Did you go on that?
Yep.
Yeah, where the robotics are so realistic that it looks like it's just happening for real right in front of you.
Yeah.
They did such a good job with the character animation with those robots that. When I went to Disneyland later, everything felt so old.
Yeah.
Everything basically was like one single joint moving around.
Yeah.
It was really an interesting contrast. Are there specific things about it that you do like? Because there are a couple things that are unique about Disneyland there too, but I don't know if you got to see much of it.
Yeah, I got to see it all. I thought Tokyo Disneyland's Pooh ride was awesome.
Oh, yeah?
That uses wireless technology that we don't have. There was no track or anything. It was great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They have a cool thing there called, I think it's called the illusion, I don't remember what it's called, but they project a giant thing on the castle for this giant show. And they basically have the castle, something will happen and the castle will break. It's at night, so if there's no projection, it's dark. And it's funny because that's something that they do all across Japan. And they project onto Japanese castles, and they also do it at Disneyland. So it's just kind of a funny thing that's kind of a uniquely Japanese thing that they do there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting because at least in comparison to the Paris Disneyland, they at least keep it kind of separated from Tokyo, where you never can actually see Tokyo from inside. Right. So at least there's kind of that benefit to it. But
well, you can't really at Disneyland in California. You can't see outside either unless you went.
Oh yeah, and I'm saying the Tokyo one preserves the cool stuff from that. Whereas in Euro Disney, it's not quite as good.
No, Euro Disney. I went on the train and I was seeing parking lots and shit. It was okay.
I'm really curious though what Hong Kong Disneyland is like.
Yeah,
I've heard from people who've been that say that at least. In terms of guest organization, things are a bit of a mess, but are getting better slowly. But I'm curious, where it is and what the quality of rides are like. It'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. But I'm excited to see what happens with Shanghai too. That'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well, thank you for your call.
Oh yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you.